Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, but for all intents and purposes, being a legal practitioner, he'll understand that equity sees has done that which ought to be done, so I can refer to the Deputy as Mr. Speaker, albeit temporarily. Mr. Speaker, I want to start off by saying I have never heard a member of this House so aptly describe himself. I've never heard that. I have never heard that one. When you lie to yourself, you begin to believe your lies. I don't want to go down that line, Mr. Speaker, because I will exhaust the only hour or whatever time I have to deal with quite a few issues. But, Mr. Speaker, I rise to express my unequivocal support for this Appropriation Bill 2025-2026. To be quite honest, Mr. Speaker, speaking from a pedestal of utmost objectivity, I diligently searched the crevices of an extensive repertoire in the hopes of finding some adequate adverb or adverbs to do justice to a satisfactory description of this budget. But sadly, Mr. Speaker, I was flat-footed. Flat-footed because no one word or group of words can come close to fully embracing the diverse ramifications of the pronouncements and the intended benefit of this budget to the people of this country. Simply put, this budget, in my view, is magnanimous. In my discourse, Mr. Speaker, I intend to pursue the following path: touch on the most salient takeaways, touch on the agencies over which I provide ministerial oversight, touch on some of the areas that the leader of the opposition alluded to, who was conveniently absented himself. I hope it's for a short period. And the substantive, Mr. Speaker, now resumes the chair. So yes, that's the track I intend to follow, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025, about 5:30 p.m., the Prime Minister was still in the dressing room, so to speak. He had not even taken the pitch yet when he scored his most impressive triple-century innings. And whilst in that dressing room, he overtly stated, for the benefit and hearing of all and sundry, that there will be no new taxes. In other words, Mr. Speaker, that utterance of no new taxes by the Prime Minister was within the first few minutes, if not the first few seconds, of his approximate 3-hour delivery. Yet, Mr. Speaker, the leader of the opposition was on the radio and TV saying that there was a $200 million increase in taxes. But guess what? He didn't stop there. The day after, he moved from $200 million increase in taxes to $300 million increase in taxes. But what he could not say, he could not say what was the new mechanism by that $200 or $300 million, whichever he selected, was collected. What exactly new did the government put taxes on? I am still looking, I cannot find. So, Mr. Speaker, we start off with no new taxes. But you see, he cannot understand how a budget so heavily equipped with benefits for the people of this country, so heavily equipped for everything for all and sundry. I will not call it a giveaway budget. I will call it a budget that takes care of all the people of this country, no matter your class, creed, religion, or political belief. Because when this government institutionalizes policies, it does not say it is for the Labour Party members or the United Workers' Party members. It is for all and sundry across the board. But he cannot believe it, Mr. Speaker, because he's asking, where is the member for Castries East getting the money from? But it is simple, Mr. Speaker. It is simple. There is no longer a tremendous wastage of the people's money, Mr. Speaker. There is no longer a tremendous leakage, Mr. Speaker. There is no longer all the disappearance of monies through corruption. And I'm sure you know, Mr. Speaker, I think I've made it a document of the House before. Transparency International indicated that the perception of non-existent corruption has increased under the leadership of Philip Joseph Bier. In fact, Mr. Speaker, it was at its lowest in the year 2017 when the member from Mico North was Prime Minister. We were 40 out of 100, Mico South, sorry. 40 out of 100. Today, Mr. Speaker, we have risen to 59. Our highest was 70, and we achieved it when the member for Vieux-Fort North and the member for Castries North were respective prime ministers. Vieux-Fort South, sorry, Mr. Speaker. Under them. And it dipped suddenly when the member from Mico South took over. So there is no longer that leakage of money going through corruption, Mr. Speaker. There is no longer a prime minister who leaves a vehicle on from morning to night, burning fuel as if he's spending money he does not care where it comes from. There is no prime minister, Mr. Speaker, who pays £2,000 a night, not caring that it is paid for by taxpayers, Mr. Speaker. There is no bypass road I know that this prime minister will build for any individual that will cost $15 million, Mr. Speaker. Preparing our budget. This prime minister will never spend $50 million on any company to assist in the preparation of the budget, Mr. Speaker. He will use our good and old faithful civil servants, Mr. Speaker. That's what he will do. So there are no more leakages. There is no more wastage, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, and I'll get to his points in a bit. But when you tell me that you came into office as Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, you found a transition team that would have taken the operations of Victoria Hospital to OKEU. It was being done by St. Lucians at a measly price, Mr. Speaker, X amount per month for each of the 5 or 6 members. And all of a sudden, you fire all of them and you engage the Cayman Group at a price tag of $25 million. We have stopped that wastage, Mr. Speaker. We have stopped it. No longer, Mr. Speaker, will we spend $32 million on artificial turf. We will not, Mr. Speaker. And I don't care whether they say permanent do et permanency. Même si do, même si ici, nous pas qu'à payer $14 million. Permanent do. People. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, when you see the member for Castries East is performing what is perceived as miraculous deeds, he is managing the funds properly, Mr. Speaker. That is what he's doing. He is managing properly and is blocking the leakages, Mr. Speaker. I will never hear any memo come to cabinet and this prime minister will agree to acquire a hotel that runs over $100 million. Nous pas à faire hotel. Ou ka di mon se premier ministre en pays. Bagay hotel se bagay privé. Ou ka ale, ou ka acquire a hotel pour $100 million. Vous comprenez? So, là où pouvez tout c'est l'argent ça là pour dépasser ou pas qu'à l'argent pour dépasser les laisser lycéens. You know, Mr. Speaker, $7 million in vaccine. You know? So we have lost hundreds of $millions in revenue, Mr. Speaker. Hundreds of $millions have gone down the drain. Range developers came here and you guaranteed them funding at a concessionary rate. When you could not deliver, they threatened court action and taxpayers had to pay range developers $32 million, Mr. Speaker. So we have stopped the leakages. So when we talk about primary surplus and when we talk about an extra $300 million, what he does not understand is this. The policies of this government cause money to be rolled out into the economy. When money is rolled out into the economy, Mr. Speaker, it leads to greater economic activity. Once there is greater economic activity, government invariably will collect more monies at the end of the day. But he does not understand that. He does not understand that, Mr. Speaker. So, having stopped the leakages, and to borrow a line from the death announcements, those leakages are just too numerous to mention. So, Mr. Speaker, the long and short of it is that this government has stopped wastage. There is no more bleeding of the country's resources, and the country's revenue is now adequate to take care of its needs and its people, to discharge its social responsibilities, and to empower our people in a way that people can now become employers, employ others, and cause greater economic activity in this country. Hence the reason, Mr. Speaker, why for the first time in history, our unemployment figures are below 10%, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this glaringly shows that there is absolutely no comparison between the former Prime Minister, who now quite appropriately, although I rather suspect it's a short-lived, it will be short-lived, speaking from the standpoint of today, it will be a short-lived occupation of the chair of leader of the opposition, because I rather suspect when the elections are called in the not-too-distant future, it is due in July of next year, but even July is not too distant in the future, Mr. Speaker. I rather suspect all 17 members, the Prime Minister would have to select a leader of the opposition. That is my own suspicion, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, this government has managed well. And it is the proper management that has caused the Prime Minister, the Ministry of Finance, to forecast revenue expenditure and to do things in a manner that will redound to the benefit of our people without creating any further burden on them, Mr. Speaker. 10-year passport. Yes, the government collects revenue from a 5-year passport, and by virtue of extending it to 10 years, Mr. Speaker, we are going to lose revenue that we would have collected. That revenue will be halved, if you want to put it that way. However, it is because of proper management and savings in other regard that the Prime Minister and Minister of Finance realize that we can give our people a break. In other words, let us pass on the benefit of good management to the people of this country, Mr. Speaker. But you know, they said it was their idea. They said so. We stole the idea. But by his own admission, woulda, shoulda, coulda, but didn't. You cannot tell me a simple thing like the elongation of the life of a passport from 5 to 10 years. It was your idea. You spent 5 years in office. You dragged the people of this country into an unwanted 6th year. You did not do it. And now as we are getting it done, you are saying we are still in your idea. But then again, Mr. Speaker, as someone asked, I don't know if there is any kind of trademark on ideas for governance, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sometimes you sit and you listen. You sit and you listen and you ask yourself, are you hearing correctly? Because, I heard some of the things that came out of the mouth of the leader of the opposition. And I simply could not believe them, Mr. Speaker. I simply could not believe them. Even the CXC, before I go to them, the CXC, I heard the member for Swazel Saltibus asking or questioning the merit of paying for CXCs for students. Mr. Speaker, I could not believe the member. And I'll tell you why. His justification was that we should adopt a principle of meritocracy. Those who deserve, those who are poor, because they are rich ones who can afford and they are poor ones who cannot afford. But Mr. Speaker, I would not even take it from the standpoint of education. This is how I look at it. The opposition under its current membership, Mr. Speaker, is well known for the manifestation of the Belrose Doctrine. They are well known for that. So they would like a mechanism whereby those who deserve would be those they say deserve. That's what he wants. He wants us to implement a mechanism where those who deserve will be determined by themselves who are the political directorate, Mr. Speaker. And then he said, don't pay for all, pay for some. Mr. Speaker, let me say this. No child, if we're ever to adopt that policy, no child from any constituency that voted for the opposition, if by faith they got into office, will ever be poor enough for CXC to be paid for them. Mevle dikosa that Mampusu Azeika di pa pay CXC by tout moun, pay by moun ki pasa pay because lando to a moun ki sa afford. Mwen di mada koreksa because yo se yo kalte moun de pou pa vote by you, même sou pov yo kay di ou wish because ou pa te vote by you. And that is the Belrose Doctrine, Mr. Speaker. So a child who is living in total destitution, Mr. Speaker, who hails from Denry North, when the people in Denry North decide to re-elect Sean again, they will say, when they give him 4 in a row, Mr. Speaker, they will say, if by faith the UWP were to assume office, they'll say that child is not poor enough, Mr. Speaker. So they want a situation, a policy, a mechanism that would subject itself to manipulation by them, Mr. Speaker. Sadly. Look at this, Mr. Speaker. Look at this. The subsidy on rice, flour, and sugar. The leader of the opposition, he opened his mouth, Mr. Speaker, and he said that that subsidy is meant for poor people. And because there were a handful of hoteliers, just a handful of hoteliers who were benefiting, Mr. Speaker, from the subsidy, what did he do? He removed the subsidy. To punish 10, he sacrificed thousands of St. Lucians, Mr. Speaker. Kohayo Cafe. But when this government assumed office, Mr. Speaker, what did we do instantaneously is to restore the subsidy on rice, flour, and sugar meant for the poor people of this country, Mr. Speaker. Because you see, Mr. Speaker, no situation is foolproof. There is absolutely nothing you can do without having persons who try to beat the system. That is the nature of human beings, and that's a fact. You have the housing repair program. You assist people in good faith, and down the road you hear a man selling 5 sheets of plywood that Sean gave him. Those are things, those are the realities. But Mr. Speaker, do you castigate, chastise, and compromise the ability to help thousands of people because 1 or 2 people are unscrupulous? You cannot, Mr. Speaker. You cannot. And so, it's sad, but there is no foolproof mechanism in any policy the government rules out. I remember I was making a case for a young man from my constituency, Mr. Speaker, when I called the youth economy, and the story I was given was sad but true. And whilst most young people in the youth economy are honest and hardworking people, while most of them have made the best of the opportunity, that does not mean there are not some who are untoward, Mr. Speaker. And so they will take the money that is meant for an investment and do other things, Mr. Speaker, not necessarily what the intention of the money was supposed to have been used for. You will get that. You will get that. You know, you will get that. We as a people, Mr. Speaker, that's how we operate. That is how people operate, the nature of people, Mr. Speaker. They always try to find a way to beat the system. So, Mr. Speaker, vouchers, another one. You know, I'm hungry, give me a voucher. Look, a $50 voucher. You turn around, Navan Sabawi, $40. That is the nature of people. Not all. It cannot be all. By and large, the majority of people are good people. When I hear persons say police officers are this, police officers are that, the majority of police officers are good, hardworking, honest police officers. The majority of them. That does not mean 1 or 2 would not behave in an unscrupulous fashion, but the majority of them are good ones. So, Mr. Speaker, we as a government will not put in place any kind of mechanism that would lend itself to the perpetuation of the Belrose Doctrine, Mr. Speaker. Because if you believe you want us to do something where we will say we will do it on merit, and the determination of merit is what the parliamentary rep believes, then opposition children will never enjoy a policy that was meant to roll out for everyone and across the political divide. So, Mr. Speaker, that is the flabo, you know. That is the flabo. They will sacrifice 500 poor children just because they come from constituencies that did not support them. But like I said, this government, whatever it does, Mr. Speaker, is not taking cognizance of who voted Labour and who voted Flabo. And more so, you have a leader. Moi-même pas jamais ouais ça les 7 siècles. Là, il dit ça en créole. Moi-même pas jamais ouais ça. C'est accordé au bâti en caille. On moun vini me ou do. L'applicateur be ou do. Le yay ka ou le ou do. Mais là, lui-même, à toi dit de caille like ou do. Là, il ouais l'applicateur vin chebe le mou do. Vin porti shelter. That is the measure of the Prime Minister, member for Castries East. Because dragged into a 6th year without any resources for the opposition, none whatsoever. And today, Mr. Speaker, today, in fact, being responsible for the councils, one councillor from Miku South told me that the member for Miku South said, when the Prime Minister gives him his CDP allocation, he will do this, he'll do that, and he'll do the other. Counting in a manner of certainty. in a manner of certainty, actually playing on the benevolence of the Prime Minister, knowing full well there was no reciprocity in that regard. But then again, the Prime Minister is a good man, Mr. Speaker. He is a good man. Mr. Speaker, the nurses. No one can doubt that we suffer a brain drain, especially in relation to the health sector, Mr. Speaker. We suffer a brain drain, Mr. Speaker. And it is that brain drain we have to be extremely careful about, knowing what the policies are in relation to Cuban nurses, knowing the threats that we face as a small island developing state, knowing we cannot fend for ourselves in the global waters. And it is because of the vision of the Prime Minister. He indicated to Cabinet that, look, we need to secure the future for our people. Let us invest in nurses. And that is why today, Mr. Speaker, I am proud to be part of this government that will ensure in the next 3 or 4 years we will have adequate nurses to serve the people of this country without having to travel abroad for anything at all, Mr. Speaker. I am very, very pleased about that, Mr. Speaker. And by the way, Mr. Speaker, I want to place on record my disdain, my utmost contempt for statements made by a guy, I believe, who's just pushing out teeth, the teething guy. You cannot tell me, Mr. Speaker, you point at our doctors and nurses and paint all of them in one brush, Mr. Speaker. That is not only egregious, it's despicable, Mr. Speaker. It is. He has questioned the professionalism of doctors and nurses in this country. All of them, Mr. Speaker, because he's afraid to get a wrong injection. But you know, Mr. Speaker, what is even more surprising? I have not heard any kind of statement basically denouncing that kind of treatment or painting of doctors and nurses, Mr. Speaker. This is almost unforgivable, Mr. Speaker. And you know, there is an old saying, Mr. Speaker, how it goes now, you give them an inch, they take a yard. Because he made that statement and he felt he did it with total impunity, he has now attacked custom officers. He attacked custom officers. He attacked SLASPA staff. SLASPA Customs, where are you? A man who, if the Prime Minister decides to call elections today and gives the minimum mandated by the Constitution, 21 days, and fate has it, he becomes Deputy Prime Minister. He's saying he does not trust the nurses. He does not trust SLASPA staff. He does not trust custom officers because they will plant something in his bag. Mr. Speaker, it is that kind of treatment and distrust for our civil servants that caused the last administration to sit consultants from all over the place to do what civil servants had done from time immemorial, Mr. Speaker. From time immemorial, Mr. Speaker, a great influx of consultants under the last administration. You're telling me that under the Labour Party, during the reign of the member for Viewfort South as Prime Minister, a team, I remember Dr. Stevenson King was a member of that panel, a member of that group, to transition from Victoria to OKU. As soon as you came in, consultants, because you don't trust them, and you were paying the consultants, Mr. Speaker, over $2 million a month. And what is worse, it had to take this government to come into this house to borrow money to pay that debt. You know, Mr. Speaker, and you know, on top of all of those things, Mr. Speaker, on top of all of those things, you will believe, Mr. Speaker, that they would have at least a little respect for police and civil servants. You paint all nurses and doctors with one brush. You basically said SLASPA workers and custom officers will set you up. Then you turn around and say civil servants, I'm putting you on notice. Civil servants, I'm putting you on notice. And the other one said police, I'm putting you on notice. So, Mr. Speaker, it appears that the emblem of democracy will soon disappear in the election process in this country. It appears that tyranny is quickly taking over and persons are being threatened into a position, Mr. Speaker. But there is an old colloquial saying, La linkuwi ikuwi jubawi, because the longest rope, Mr. Speaker, has an end. Mr. Speaker, another of the issues that I applaud is that of making workers over 2 years permanent. Some time ago, I had reason to go to the Department of Environmental Health. I found myself in conversation with a few persons, Mr. Speaker, a few persons who, one of them told me he had been temporary for almost 30 years. Mr. Speaker, I could not believe it. The question became, how long is temporary? Because had he been in the substantive service, after all now he would have been entitled to retirement, his pension. 30 years was still temporary. Mr. Speaker, I was left speechless. But what had me in even more awe than that was the fact that he said to me, Mr. Minister, you know I never had a loan in my life. I said, really? He said, yes. He said the only institutions that would lend him money at an extremely exorbitant interest rate would be Fast Cash and this one and that one. Those where the interest is high, but the period of employment is almost negligible in terms of their requirements. He said he has never had a loan from the bank. He said he has taken credit from the lending institutions, the hire purchase, from those institutions like Courts and Massey. But everything he has bought, Mr. Speaker, had to have been on somebody's name because he could not get a letter of confirmed employment, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I want everybody around this table to put their hands together for the 1,900 people that will be on permanent staff from the 1st of June 2025. That is a master stroke, Mr. Speaker, because it has brought a certain degree of stability to the lives of many, many families out there. We may just don't know. We cannot fathom, we cannot imagine. But I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, the ramifications of that policy would be well received by a lot of families. And I know that this man is probably listening to me now, and he knows he can now go to Courts, he can now go to Massey, he can go to other places where they give goods on hire purchase and have an account in his name. He couldn't have done it. He had to be using people's names, Mr. Speaker. So I'm happy about that, Mr. Speaker. And, you know, right now they can go to the bank. They can borrow money for their children's education. Because empowerment starts with either education or ownership of land. Those are the two main facets of personal empowerment, Mr. Speaker. Education or property ownership. So I'm happy about that. Mr. Speaker, teachers. You know, the payment for temporary teachers in August. You know, Mr. Speaker, I have the good fortune of cohabiting with a very fine teacher Yes, a very fine teacher, and I want to take this opportunity. Yesterday was a birthday, belated birthday greetings, Daniel Thomas, and thank you for all the support you give me. I need it. So, Mr. Speaker, I can speak from a standpoint of experience. There is no teacher, not one teacher, whose husband, boyfriend, spouse, whoever, do not assist them when the year ends to get their classroom prepared for the following year. Most of them spend their own money, Mr. Speaker. And I want to applaud the teachers for that, Mr. Speaker. Most of them, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, not too long ago, I'm greeted with, I want a TV for my class. I asked for the children to watch what? No to the PowerPoint presentation. Mr. Speaker, I bought a television for my partner, which is in a classroom, to assist the children in their tuition, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, when this government, not only is we are paying temporary teachers now, but we also increased the amount that teachers were getting to assist in the facilitation of preparedness of the classroom for the following academic year. Bravo to this government, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government is doing well. We are doing very well, and no one can doubt that. No one can doubt that. Although I heard the member for Viewfort South saying that basically the member for Castries East learned under him. Well, I'll tell you, you were a good teacher. You were a good teacher, because some of the master strokes displayed by your former student are nothing but exemplary and bestow benefits to the good people of this country, irrespective of political allegiance. You know, Mr. Speaker, there was an anomaly, Mr. Speaker, in the service beyond 55. And that was a tremendous anomaly. In fact, right now, there is a police officer who retired. And I know he's listening, but I will not call his name. He retired, Mr. Speaker. His salary was compressed or compromised, if you want to call it that. So he has a Tikakadas pension. But his mortgage is yet to be totally paid. And he has that 10-year gap, Mr. Speaker, between 55 retiring and 65 to get your pension, Mr. Speaker. And that 10-year gap brought him extreme financial distress, Mr. Speaker. And I can tell you, Mr. Speaker, there are firemen and ex-police officers who find themselves in that 10-year gap, and that 10-year gap placed them in survival mode. Survival mode, their lives hinge on dependency from others, Mr. Speaker. But it is relieving to know that that anomaly is wiped out. And Mr. Prime Minister, I want to thank you, especially for those guys who I know will embrace that. And you know, the thing is, Baba certainly see, sa pa bagay leba, sa pa bagay flabo, sa se bagay tout moun. Le nou ka pay pensioner tout moun. Le nou ka bay teacher tout moun. How can you tell me any wise thinking person can move away from the policies of this government and resort to what obtained last? You have to be out of your mind, Mr. Speaker. You have to be out of your mind. Now, you know, Mr. Speaker, you are the Prime Minister, and I wish he was here, because I want to put a challenge to him. This Prime Minister is truly Lucian, and he truly cares. I dare say the former Prime Minister in the member for Miku South cannot sing our national anthem unprompted. Laissez lycée passage sons of daughters of St. Lucia. He cannot sing it. He does not know the words. And I challenge him on that one. Place us in a room, no teleprompter, no words on a script. Sing the national anthem for me. And even as a Christian nation, we all were brought up knowing the Lord's Prayer, which we colloquially refer to the Our Father. Not even that he can see. I pasa the Our Father. Kimani who says at least here, Upahadi Our Father what in heaven. See the we can tell the Our Father what in heaven. Hallowed be thy name. Says Haikadi. And I'm not chiding him. This is harsh reality. But the reality redounds to the fact that he has no St. Lucianness in him. That is a fact. He's not Lucian. And the other one say, ask him to, Taiwanese come here in 2 months. They rolling their tongue in Creole. Rolling. Rolling, holding any conversation with any Creole speaking person. You're 60-something years. You want to blame an earpiece that are supposed to translate English to Patois for you? The earpiece not good? Can you believe that? The other one, it's time to take our country back. And somebody said something in Patois. What is he saying? You want to take our country back, the Philly one. Wayne will finish feeling him. The member for answer will finish feeling him. And that is what, Mr. Speaker, the St. Lucianness in any government resides in the St. Lucia Labour Party. Because had the other government been there, we would have no celebrations for independence. We would have no celebrations for, what's the name of emancipation. We would not have for emancipation. And today, we are celebrating those things as a free people, Mr. Speaker. But they didn't want us to be free. They didn't want us to be free, Mr. Speaker. Come in here, you say, Lucia, take our country back, but you can't speak our Creole. You can't even sing our national anthem. And I want to put that to the member for Miku South. I will pay him $1 million. 1 million. If within the next month he stands anywhere, totally unprompted, and sings the national anthem in its entirety. And I stand by my word. He has no ability to retain. So once he starts, he'll start well. Sons and daughters of St. Lucia. He'll forget the next line. He will forget. I am paying him $1 million to stand. I have to be present. Sing the national anthem. And I'm giving somebody to hold a check. And we could do it tomorrow or tonight. Tonight, Mr. Speaker, I am writing the check. I'm giving you the check. Let him exhibit his St. Lucianness by singing our national anthem in its entirety without being prompted.
If that's the case, we are June for the year, ain't coming back.
So, Mr. Speaker, you take the challenge. You're too much St. Lucian for me. So, Mr. Speaker, those people are not St. Lucians. They are not St. Lucians. Now, let me dwell on some of the things that the leader of the opposition said. He called myself and the deputy cowards. Mr. Speaker, in the Westminster system of government, when a prime minister delivers his budget address, the next person to speak is the leader of the opposition. It happens everywhere. He refuses to do it. He refuses to abide by the principles, the protocol of the system of Westminster, and refers to other people as cowards, Mr. Speaker. Louis George was there alone, and he did it. And what Louis George said, one time when there was no refutal, he said, Leibo Debo, and he finished. But you believe that you have to hear everybody to refute. You need not hear anybody, because what you are refuting are the numbers in the book. That's what you're refuting. But you see, He wants to go on a frolic of his own, Mr. Speaker, and just spew nonsense alone. You know, again, he did it with the deputy speaker thing. So he's just throwing protocol out of the window. The deputy speaker, he basically threw the constitution out of the window. The calling of parliament, when he was told you had to call parliament within 30 days, you had to convene parliament within 30 days. He said there are no sanctions. You know, so the man is making a mockery of what is established procedure in this country, Mr. Speaker. And then talk about COVID. Talk about COVID, and COVID caused this and COVID caused that. Mr. Speaker, if you check our growth between 2016 and 2021, you will see that the economy started contracting way before COVID. He picked it up, I think the last growth under the member for Viewfort South was about 3.4%. And as soon as he came in, Mr. Speaker, it started deepening. Before COVID, it was already minus 1.7 or thereabout, Mr. Speaker. That minus 1.7 was not influenced by any external shocks. It was his own bad management. So don't talk about COVID. Everywhere in the world, Mr. Speaker, was hit with COVID. When you took over our economy, it was the best in the OECS. When you left it at the worst. And what is worse, Mr. Speaker? What is worse? Our economy, a small economy like ours, contracted the second worst in the world. The second worst. So it's poor management. And mind you, during COVID, he borrowed in excess of $500 million. So if there was proper management, that $500 million would have been circulated in the economy and would have given the economy sufficient cushion so as not to contract so much. But the man don't know anything, and he did not cushion COVID with the $500 million. You know, then he went to the airport, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, that's the first time in the history of my life, everything that has to be constructed has a bill of quantities. Can you believe, Mr. Speaker, that this leader of the opposition, who was then Minister of Finance, started the airport, arguably one of our biggest projects, and started the airport without a bill of quantities. Without a bill of quantities. And all he said was, in a nutshell, spend money and the contractor will put another percentage on top of what you spend and will pay you. And you have the audacity to talk about...
Remember, you have 12 minutes left.
How many?
12.
Not half an hour. Not half an hour. Not half an hour. No. 30. Yeah. I'll try and wrap up before that. 30.
Leader of Government Business.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to suspend Standing Order 32.8 to allow the Honourable Member an extra 30 minutes to complete his presentation.
I'll complete with it.
Honourable members, the question is that Standing Order 32.8 be suspended and Standing Order 32.10 invoked to allow the member for Castries Central an additional 30 minutes in which to complete his presentation. I now put a question. As many as of that opinion say aye. As many as of a contrary opinion say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Mr. Speaker, I'm aware that it's a Friday and I'm aware it's getting late. And I'm aware that the member for Soufrière has to drive to Soufrière. I will try desperately
well,
to...
we get paid to come here.
Oh, we get paid to come here, okay.
That's what you get elected to do here.
Okay, very well, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can you imagine the member for Miku South speaks to a travesty to the people of Taiwan in relation, what did he speak about that he said? He said, oh, the airport. The airport. Travesty to the people of Taiwan, Mr. Speaker. The people of Taiwan built a meat processing facility to the tune of $24 million for the government and people of St. Lucia. You decommissioned and destroyed it for one man. And you have the audacity to talk about, it's a travesty to the people of Taiwan. Mr. Speaker, and he spoke about stopping projects, Mr. Speaker. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. The Uranora International Airport should have been finished long ago. But he came in, paid IFC over $3 million. Well, we had to pay over $3 million, Mr. Speaker, because he did not want to continue with a program that he did not inherit. And he's well known for that. And then he talked about there was no tendering, Mr. Speaker. I mean, when you listen to this man, you wonder whether he's the prodigal son and he's the converted. You prepared a letter, a direct award for $70 million 11 days before elections to accrue interest at 1% per day. Thank God July 26, 2021 found itself that fateful 11th day for $70 million direct award. And today you talk about direct award. You sold our mall that was valued $60 million. Sold it for 13.5 in court about 3 weeks ago. When he was asked on the cross-examination, how much did you sell the mall? He said 27 million. But I will get the complete clip and play it for St. Lucians and show them the deed. Because this man has a habit that is internalized, where he spew lies with very much ease, with great ease, Mr. Speaker. Because he suffers from autism. The Cabot lands, Cabot lands. Take pensioners' money, lend it to Cabot to buy lands, 12 million US, $32 million. Cabot sold one lot for 9 million US and paid us off. There was no tendering. You sold our mall, all kind of things you do. And today, you talk about tendering, and he talks about exposing the state to lawsuits. You gave T.R. King a deal, 1,000 acres at $1 an acre. And you were actually asking T.R. King to take us to court, having created the mischief, rather than assisting the government and people to solve the mischief that you created. You want to capitalize on it for political gain. Take over. So, Mr. Speaker, talk about foreign workers. Then the man talk about taxes, increased taxes. The same man who at 11 o'clock in the night passed tax on black pudding, on charcoal, on making blocks, on hairdressers, on mechanics, on jewelers. Today, you want to talk about taxes? This man, Mr. Speaker, quite honestly, I don't know. But I'm looking forward to the day, Mr. Speaker, when the Almighty will bless us with an eternal exit of the member for Miku South from our political landscape, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the government has shown a propensity to listen to the cries of its people, Mr. Speaker, and to respond appropriately. Right now, rather than giving away land, the government announced a policy that as long as you have been in occupation of residential land for over 30 years, this government will give you the land totally free, Mr. Speaker. And that is a masterstroke, Mr. Speaker. That is the difference, Mr. Speaker, between the former administration and this government. $1 an acre, no. Give it to you. And that's for foreigners, Mr. Speaker. That is for foreigners. So this government, Mr. Speaker, is doing things totally differently. And in that regard, a statutory corporation is already being worked on, Mr. Speaker. Those lands will be vested in that statutory corporation. I want to compliment and thank the member for Viewford South It was his idea to move in that direction so that it will make transfer to the beneficiaries much, much simpler. Now, Mr. Speaker, you have to send the deed to the Governor General. It has to go to the Attorney General, Governor General. All the generals are involved. And so it takes an eternity, even if it's 5 square feet of land, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in that regard, there are over 800 persons in Pomme Auger, Opicor, and in that general area that will receive land totally free, Mr. Speaker. And I want to place on record I want to commend on record the member for Labrie for his persistence, Mr. Speaker, in ensuring his constituents were catered for as he took cognizance of the history of the occupation of those lands, Mr. Speaker. We already have over 1,000 lots that have been surveyed, and commencement of the delivery of those deeds will be pretty soon. Mr. Speaker, in addition to persons in that area, there are persons who have lived there for less than 30 years. They will be getting the land at $2.50 a square foot, as has already been done in Talvin-Babono. And talking about Talvin-Babono, Mr. Speaker, an allocation of $5 million has been made to facilitate the construction of 15 two-bedroom condominium buildings. Although the Prime Minister said construction will start in June, Mr. Prime Minister, I rather suspect that given the speed with which your humble servant operates, I believe it will start sooner once the provision of the money is there, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have agreed at NHC not to incorporate the price of the land, and we will try desperately to keep the price of those two-bedroom condos below $200,000. We are currently looking at $195,000 for the average nurse, police officer, teacher, and persons that fall within that bracket. Mr. Speaker, one house that had found itself squarely in the way at Talvin, Mr. Speaker, we had to demolish it, Mr. Speaker. This is what we found, this is what we gave. We found this one at the top, Mr. Speaker, and gave the one in the bottom. On the day we were handing over the keys, the lady was pleasantly surprised, Mr. Speaker, when I announced that along with the house, she will pay $0.00 for the land. So she gets house and land completely free, a package valued at least $200,000. Mr. Speaker, in Ridgebois-Tiwoche, the constituency of Miku South, lands had been acquired ever since the member from Vieux-Fort South was Prime Minister, and he manifested an intention to regularize it and put in the relevant infrastructure. Although it is in the constituency of the last Prime Minister and currently leader of the opposition for 5 years, Mr. Speaker, I rather suspect because it was acquired by his predecessor entitled, Mr. Speaker, he did absolutely nothing to assist the people, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it had to take this government and this minister to come in at Ridgebois, put in concrete roads, put in concrete drains, and to give 14 deeds to the people of Ridgebois completely free of charge, Mr. Speaker. They paid not a penny, Mr. Speaker. There are several other areas, Mr. Speaker, the length and breadth of St. Lucia. We have Trumase in Miku South, which we want to regularize. In Palmis, in Soufre, Mr. Speaker, I have good news for the occupants of the National Housing Corporation houses. We will be giving away those houses, Mr. Speaker, to those persons who have been in occupation, courtesy the member for Soufre. In Denry North, Mr. Speaker, there is a place called Madoua. And you know, Mr. Speaker, some of those people, Yoni Chetan, the member for Denry North, spoke about Madoua in the estimates. He spoke about it. About 3 days ago, I'm seeing a video, Mr. Speaker, of the potential candidate that talk about they ain't no there, that one, whatever his name is. What's his name? I can't pronounce his name. They ain't no there. But I'm hearing him. He spoke about that in the estimates. The member for the potential member, I don't even know if they're not fired, for the United Workers' Party, and the other one from Grozili, do a video talking about the very lands that they will do a development there. So they probably were listening to the member for Denry North, and then they basically put ideas. But Madwa is well on its way, and Madwa, we're coming. We will attempt, Mr. Speaker, to regularize most of those lands. There are some, obviously, that are strategically positioned. We will not be able to use a one-brush-fits-all. We will do what we have to do, but those lands that lend themselves to commercial and developmental use, we would have to deal with them differently, Mr. Speaker. We want to empower our people and create generational wealth through land ownership. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to take this opportunity to warn our people against squatting. You know, there are areas as a government we want to come in and regularize. We want to give persons title, we want to put in infrastructure. Whether the lands are private, which have to be acquired, or they are government-owned, or they are owned by government agencies. However, the haphazard settlements, Mr. Speaker, make it extremely difficult. There are situations in which you cannot even run a survey line for 20 feet without running into somebody's bedroom or in the bathroom. So it makes it difficult. So let's settle this here. Gouvernement I try edezo, but bagay squat sala anu try finye pi souple. So we nou ka mande zo souple ou just do bout by squat la wete Churchill ek nou ka edezo. Mr. Speaker, I feel the compunction to reflect on a $5 million allocation for cemeteries. I cannot help but remember what transpired in Miku North, a constituency, Mr. Speaker, that had been loyal to the United Workers' Party from time immemorial. Between 2016 and 2021, Mr. Speaker, there was not one available tomb in Monrepo. Not one. And everybody in Monrepo who died, their loved ones had to bury them, closest being Deriso. Mr. Speaker, under the guidance, under the pressures imposed upon me, exerted on me by the member for Miku North, we acquired lands, Mr. Speaker, we built a cemetery, and I'm pleased to announce, Mr. Speaker, that persons have already been buried in that new cemetery in Miku North, Mr. Speaker, in Monrepo to be precise. Mr. Speaker, we have some other work to do in various areas. In Bexon, we will be spending money on the Northern Cemetery. We want to do some work in Vieux Fort. Vieux Fort was running out of tombs, and one time I had to call the Honorable Prime Minister about 3 or 4 days before Christmas, I think that was of 2022, and he made monies available for me to arrest the situation because of what was happening in Vieux Fort. The tombs basically had run out. But I'm pleased to announce, Mr. Speaker, that we have a great supply and we will continue in that regard. The guys are doing good work down there, and obviously I do it with the collaboration of the member of Vieux Fort South. Mr. Speaker, our National Housing Assistance Program will continue, and in that regard I can announce that over 2,000 St. Lucians have already benefited, and we've spent in excess of $8.5 million, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it would be remiss of me as I wind down if I did not mention the hard work of the mayor and staff of the Castries Constituency Council. Mr. Speaker, we recently commissioned the anchorage on Jabati Street. It came with extreme difficulty and not without building this for the fishermen, equipped with vending machine, Mr. Speaker. Yes, Mr. Speaker, that is what we had to build, Mr. Speaker, for the fishermen who sold fish next to the market. And it is equipped with ice machines and running water, Mr. Speaker. This is, we don't just take them off the streets. We give them an alternative, Mr. Speaker. Then we had to build some new huts, Mr. Speaker, for the displaced vendors. And this is what we built, Mr. Speaker, for the displaced vendors. This is what we built for the displaced vendors, Mr. Speaker, and that will be occupied pretty soon. We had to do that to ensure, and they are saying that we are against vendors, you know. They are saying we are against vendors, Mr. Speaker, but I'll not dwell on that, Mr. Speaker. But this is the alternative that we have given to the vendors of that were displaced where the anchorage was, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, development comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of temporary displacement. Mr. Speaker, for 5 years, the Castries Constituency Council did not receive one new vehicle, not one, from the last administration. Let me show you what we have done so far, Mr. Speaker. Just slide through this very quickly for me. Right between when we came in, Mr. Speaker, all the officers have body cams, Mr. Speaker. All of them have body cams. Right now, Mr. Speaker, we bought 13 of them. Let's go on. Yes, bulletproof vests. We have 23 bulletproof vests, Mr. Speaker. 23. We have 4 new motorcycles. 4 new motorcycles, Mr. Speaker. Let us move on. We have ATVs. We have 2 brand new ATVs, Mr. Speaker. Yes, brand new ATVs. we bought 3 garbage trucks and 1 sewer truck, Mr. Speaker. That is... yes, you all gave me 1. And we have 20 mobile caravans, Mr. Speaker. And of course, I can tell you, and along with that, we built comfort stations and the market. So, Mr. Speaker, yes, I'm member for Castries East and member for Castries South. You will get a caravan each or 2 each. It is, I am saying it openly. But yes, but it just shows, Mr. Speaker, how we uplift our people, how we take them from the streets, give them either a mobile canteen or a stationary home. No longer do they have to push carts. No longer they have to leave pieces of steel protruding on the road. That's an eyesore, you know. We are cleaning up Castries, Mr. Speaker. We are cleaning up Castries. Mr. Speaker, as I wind down, you know, the potential member for Soufrière, he wants to, and it was endorsed by the leader of the opposition, talking about if they come in, GPH will go. Mr. Speaker, whilst we are encouraging investors, we are the only government that investors come in with money. Between 2016 and 2021, not one investor came here with any money, Mr. Speaker. And so, I approached the GPH, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Kutman indicated to me, I told him I had built Jeremy Street Plaza some 17 years ago, and since I built it, it had never received a facelift. I am pleased to announce, Mr. Speaker, that Jeremy Street Plaza, gentlemen, this is what you will see. Mr. Prime Minister, when you drive on Jeremy Street, this is what you will see very, very soon. So this is Jeremy Street. This is Jeremy Street. That is where they currently have the plaza. I know you all can't believe it because it looks like Dubai. I wanted the Prime Minister to have a look at it. I want you to have a look at Dubai, right in Castries. And I am pleased to announce, Mr. Speaker, that commencement of this will be in the next week or so. We are moving, Mr. Speaker. We are moving. GPH gave me the authority to announce it. GPH gave me to announce it, and it will be built complements of GPH, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to say something quickly on crime. Somebody mentioned crime. Mr. Speaker, crime fighting has to be a multifaceted approach. But I want to take this opportunity to place on record my thanks to the police officers, to those pressure groups, to the seniors all around the ghettos, people like Toka and Prince, and those people who actually have gone through it, Mr. Speaker, and can speak to the younger ones. Steve Jean, you know, can speak to the younger ones. And I'm pleased to report, Mr. Speaker, that as we speak now, 1 murder is too many. 1 is too many. But as we speak now, we are about 43% less homicides than that same time last year, Mr. Speaker. And it has to take a combination of efforts. One of the things is, obviously, government must create an enabling environment with all the programs that are rolled out. more persons are employed, and they always say an idle hand is the devil's workshop. So, Mr. Speaker, all of those things are happening, Mr. Speaker, and we are doing well. Castries, when you walk there, Mr. Speaker, in the next 3 months or so, you'll ask yourself whether you are in Dubai. Mr. Speaker, as I close, let me express my thanks and gratitude to the people of Castries Central first and foremost. All of you in the RF team group, if I start calling names and I forget some, others will get upset. But all of you in the Castries Central group, my colleagues who have given me support, and I must say, Mr. Speaker, and I say it's coming from the deepest echelons of my conscience and my heart, I find solace, I find peace, I find tranquility whilst working with this team. I can deliver in an environment that is conducive. Give yourselves a round of applause. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you. I want to thank you very, very much. I want to thank the members of staff at the various agencies that fall under my portfolio, my PS, the mayor, and all others, Nikki and all of them. And Mr. Speaker, one of the things sometimes we bypass, I will not hear the ambassador and the people of the Republic of China, Taiwan. I want to say a big thank you to the ambassador for her contribution in assisting me in making Castries look like what it is today. With that said, Mr. Speaker, I have no doubt, absolutely none, that when this great thinking man who rose from the east, and as it is biblically renowned, wise men came from the east, rest assured, some of them will have to run. They will have to run, they will kick the brush, because all they'll have to do is rush and rush out. Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I take my seat. I support unequivocally the appropriation bill of 2024, 2025, 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.